Did you recently upgrade your PC, only to find that the games you used to love playing are no longer running right, riddled with freezing, or just downright crashing in some instances when they weren't before the upgrade? What's the deal? By now, you've likely scoured most of the internet looking for a solution, but have turned up empty-handed. Or, if you're lucky, maybe this is your first look into it and you can hit the target on the first troubleshot. Even luckier for you, I just might have the solution for you. Your time is precious, so I won't keep you. If you're having any of these issues, try this. First, you want to open the game and make sure its executable file is running. By executable file, this just means that most applications have what's called an executable file, the file your computer accesses to run the program. If your game is running, so is the file. Next, you're going to want to open up Task Manager. You can do this by simply pressing Ctrl, Shift, and Escape all at the same time, or you can right-click on the Start button and select Task Manager. On the left side of the application, you'll see a number of different symbols. These may have labels on them, they may not. In order to expand the labels, just click the 3 lines at the top left corner. Next, you'll want to go down to Details. Find the executable file, .exe, that is running the game's program. Right-click on it, select Set Affinity, and depending on your CPU, you'll see a different number of processors that are selected to run, likely all of them. For me, I have 32. I'll go a little more into detail here in a moment about why I'm doing this, but I'm gonna deselect 16 through 31. This makes it so I'm only using processors 0 through 15. If you have less than this, just cut however many you have in half. Save your changes, and now you're done. Now, I understand that not everybody has the same processor I've got. So here's something that might help. What you're doing is manipulating the E cores and P cores and what threads or processors they're tied to. This is short for efficiency cores and performance cores respectively. The reason why this is important is because you want to essentially allow the game to run on these performance cores and to completely eliminate the efficiency cores. For me and my i9-14900K, this is CPU 0 through CPU 15. Which accounts for processors 1 through 16, with processor 1 starting at CPU 0. I had done a whole bunch of research on how to make this easy to determine which one of your cores are E cores and which ones are P cores, but frustratingly enough, there isn't a straightforward way to determine this, at least not one that I know of, so this is the one part of the trick where you're just gonna have to trust me. If you attempt to run your game for a bit, you should see a significant difference in stability. Now this resets each time you close the application, so you want to make sure that you go in and correct this once you boot up the game. Of course, it's a bit tedious to do so every time, so if you plan on playing pretty often, you can use a tool like Process Lasso to effectively make this adjustment for you each time the application launches. All you have to deal with is them asking you to buy it every time you boot up your PC. A small price to pay for convenience, I think. Congrats! Now you can play your game without issues. If this is your first video and you still have issues, maybe go check out some other videos for more traditional troubleshooting steps. If you've already done that, followed these steps, and are still having problems, well, that's a bummer. I understand your frustration and need to dislike the video, and I wish you good luck out there. Though, if it is working for you and you're like me and you want to know just what the hell caused this issue in the first place and how you can prevent it from happening in the future, and overall just look for a better understanding with these things, I'll see if I can accurately convey what I've found. Here's my story. Late in the year 2024, I used the holiday time and impending doom of potential tariff price hikes to justify upgrading to an entirely new rig, and rightly so it seems. I got most of the top of the line parts for it, and I was so excited to be able to play modern games as well as I had back in 2018 with my 1080 Ti. During the transition, I was in the middle of recording a playthrough for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. For those unfamiliar with Ubisoft's arguably best Assassin's Creed game ever, it was released on October 19th, 2013, marking its release over a decade ago. While it might have gotten an update as recently as 2023, it is still, as much as I hate to admit it, a fairly old game.
Dang kids, no good.
And with that, it's not entirely realistic to expect that support would continue to be provided when technology has come so far since. I think that's ultimately what this boils down to. but I would assume that if Ubisoft wanted to fix the issue, they would. Though, with these recent rumors about a Black Flag remake being in development, they're gonna need all the selling points they can get, I'm sure. I go to resume playing the 2013 classic, and to my dismay, the game could barely run for 8 minutes at a time without nearly completely failing. The screen would freeze, but I could still hear the game's environmental audio. Only thing that would fix it for me is to Alt-Tab and then resume the game, but even this had a bit of buffer time while the game caught up to where it was supposed to be. It didn't take long for this to become an abundantly unbearable experience. The classic tedious troubleshooting steps quickly began diminishing all hope of fixing the issue. Uninstalling, reinstalling, verifying game files, none of it was working. In a desperate attempt, I even purchased a separate copy of the game through Steam, thinking there might be something different with the way it acted on my machine versus the one from Ubisoft's god-awful launcher. I mean, seriously, why do I have to enter my password every time I want to boot up the game I paid for? On the off chance that someone breaks into my home computer and wants to progress the game without my permission? Launcher functionality aside, it turns out it wasn't just the store-supplied version of the game either. At this point, I was at the end of my rope and had no other choice but to venture into the depths of Reddit. Searching through a different number of threads, I started to feel like I was banished to a land of forgotten souls with no hope to see the end. As much of the other comments rarely ever added any substance to the conversation and only echoed the troubles of the OP by making the most renowned and useless comment, this. It seemed as though I'd been damned and doomed for all eternity, never to play Black Flag again. And that's when I found it. One lonely comment in a thread that had the answer to all of my prayers. Well, maybe not all of them, but to the issue I'd been chasing down for the last half of a day. Some unsung hero, who will unfortunately continue to be unsung since I can no longer find the thread that talks about it, suggested opening up Task Manager and removing these efficiency cores from the equation. It was quite literally one of the only things I haven't tried, and while removing a variable that is meant to improve performance seemed like it would actually make it worse, well, expect the unexpected. I went back into the game, started my stopwatch, and as time went on, so did the game. And on, and on, and on. It worked! Removing these efficiency cores actually worked. But why? As I'm sure you're probably wondering yourself the same as I was, how could it be possible that removing these efficiency cores from the equation could possibly result in a better performance from this pirate assassin simulator versus having everything dialed to 11? For this, I had to have ChatGPT help me out.
All right, so let's break down why this actually works. Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out in 2013, back when most gaming PCs had, at most, 4 to 8 cores, maybe even fewer. The game was never built to handle modern CPUs with tons of cores, let alone the mix of performance cores and efficiency cores we have today. See, on Intel's latest chips, like the i9-14900K, there are 2 different types of cores. Performance cores, P-cores. These are the heavy lifters. They're built for high-speed, demanding tasks like gaming. Efficiency cores, E-cores. These are designed to handle background tasks efficiently without using as much power. Now, in a perfect world, the game would know how to use these properly. But because Black Flag is over a decade old, it doesn't. Instead, it kind of panics, spreading its workload across all available cores, even ones it wasn't designed to work with. This can lead to freezing, stuttering, or even full-on crashes. So what's the fix? By going into Task Manager and limiting the game to only the performance cores, in this case, cores 1 through 16, we're essentially tricking the game into running in an environment it does understand. We're simplifying how it handles processing power, keeping it focused on the fastest, most capable cores, rather than spreading itself too thin. And just like that, smoother gameplay, no more random freezes. But here's the best part. This trick isn't just for Assassin's Creed Black Flag. A lot of older games, especially ones from the early 2010s or before, struggle with modern CPUs in the exact same way. If you're running into weird stutters, freezes, or instability in an older title, try limiting it to only your P cores. You might be surprised at how much better it runs.
And that's pretty much everything. I truly hope this helped someone out there, as I'd hoped to find something like this myself when I was struggling. But before you click away, I gotta ask. If you're hearing this right now and you're not subscribed yet, you might as well, because why the hell not? Tutorials aren't usually my thing, so hopefully this one did the trick. I've got a plethora of different playthroughs on my channel and the occasional one-off video I encourage you to check out. And I know it's a bit of a classic trope at this point for most creators, but if you wouldn't mind leaving a like on your way out the door, that'd be sincerely appreciated. And since at this exact moment, this is a bit of a one-sided conversation, I want to extend my thanks to you for watching. And in regards to whatever video you might watch, I hope you see me in the next one.